like anytime like in a game or in training or even just in life in general, I notice something, I'll like tell him, I'm like, hey, like, you know, let's do this, or like, hey, you're doing this, you know, and he does the same thing for me, you know. And when you hear it from someone that actually cares about you, you know, even in the moment, if you're upset, when you go back and when you have like your quiet time and you just kind of like sit there, you kind of realize, okay, like, why did he say that? Was he saying that just to get at me, or was he saying that because he actually cares about me and wants to help me, you know? So then it helps you become a better person, helps you become a better player.
Welcome to a new edition of the City Voice podcast. This one is extra special because I've got two guests today. Welcome to the show, Aziel Jackson and Sam Adeniran. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. It's going great. I mean, I'm doing good. So
I'm doing good, nice and healthy.
Yeah. Did you have a good training session today?
Yeah.
Great training session. Yeah, it was fun to be out there and working with the guys. So yeah.
Definitely more intense day than usual. It's our match day -3. So yeah, normally we have entry days on Tuesday and we do it Wednesday, but since our game's Sunday, Thursday was our hard day. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for giving up your time. We don't normally do double podcasts, but a bit of exclusive information for everybody. You guys share an apartment together. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. So actually a house. So,
a house.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been it's been fun. It's been fun throughout the whole season to do that.
Did you two know each other before City?
We knew. We had relationships. Like, he was in Seattle. I mean, I was in Seattle for a while. My family's from there, so we knew the same people. He was playing with Defiance, and I was going to go to Defiance, and I knew a lot of the guys there had relationships, and then they met him, and then yeah.
So we know a lot of the same people, but didn't really know each other. But then kind of when we met each other, it was like kind of clicked. So yeah.
Fantastic, and it's interesting because the seasons that you've had have kind of followed closely, like a lot of minutes in the back end of the season. Has it been fun being on the pitch together?
Yeah, it's fun. I always love playing with Sam. You know, I think he helps his team a lot, and you know, him coming back from his loan from San Antonio, you can see that he really excelled with the team, and we were really successful when he's playing.
Well, I personally love watching you both. I think you bring so much to the team. It's been really exciting having you about the squad. Instead of you explaining what your position is, I would love, Aziel, would you explain Sam's position, what you think he brings to the team?
I think Sam brings a lot of aggression, but also like his mentality is more impressive than anything. Like he's fast, he can score, he's aware of his surroundings, he's good in the air. You can see his first game versus San Jose, he scored our first goal in the air on a corner kick. You know, you can see how strong he is. And also his soccer IQ is really high as well. People just think he's just big, but he also has a really good soccer brain and a good first touch.
Sam, how would you explain AZ to the rest of the world?
Man, AZ's like the De Bruyne of our team, you know. He's kind of like the brains of it, you know, the creativity behind it. So yeah, AZ can pretty much play anywhere in the midfield, you know, and he excels at it, you know. Without AZ, a lot of those passes that we as the strikers, me and Klaus, Nico, a lot of the passes that we get, we wouldn't be getting if it wasn't for AZ. So I mean, yeah, his IQ, his vision on the field is amazing, you know. So especially being that young. So yeah, it definitely is honestly like so important in our team. And if we don't have it, you can see that like we don't play that well when he's not on the field. So yeah, having him on the field is definitely is a big plus for us.
So being compared to a player like that's pretty exciting. I always wondered, do you guys? I mean, you guys have played in Europe. Like you've got a lot of experience for young guys. Do you, either of you, model your games on players? Are there like players that you look at and you're like, I would like to have a game like X?
Yeah, for me it was Thierry Henry. Even from when I was young, I'm an Arsenal fan. So from when I was young, that was like, and up until now, is my favorite player. You know, just the way he would get past defenders, the way he would use his strength and his skill to kind of weasel his way out of situations. And obviously his finishing was top class, one of the greatest finishers of all time. So, I mean, yeah, I model my game after him, and I definitely watch his videos and try to learn from him.
That goal against KC, that felt a bit Thierry. How about you, AZ?
I'd say Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho is my hero, my idol, who I try to my game. I try to make my game like his. Just how he was just magical on the field. He could do anything he want. He played free. He can dribble players. He can score. He can pass. And I loved like bringing like flair to the game as well. Like I feel like when I had the assist to Klaus in the game, I felt like there was little moments there. It's like I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to make a run for the team, and it felt like I was in the moment, and that's how I want to play football.
Do you guys get nervous before you go out on the pitch? I mean, City Park is a big, intimidating atmosphere. Like, what does playing in front of the home crowd feel like to you? And do you ever get used to it?
Man, yeah, definitely. The first time that I played, obviously, yeah, you get a little bit nervous, but as you know, when you're a professional, you start to get used to it, especially when you're in a new team, obviously new surroundings. Obviously, coming from Seattle, another place that had a really big stadium and a lot of fans, it was really loud, but I haven't experienced anything as loud as City Park. So yeah, it definitely it's kind of nerve wracking when you first get out there, but the fans help you to feel more comfortable. So
yeah, I definitely agree. Echo what Sam was saying. Like City Park, nothing compares to City Park where I played. Like just the noise is you get goosebumps every single time you get on the field. Even the walkouts when the lights are off and the lights are on, you can tell that it's a big stage and our fans support us, and we appreciate them. It's definitely something I would take with me forever.
So I wanted St. Louis loves a good origin story. You both got career paths that kind of follow like similar parallels. But I'd love you to tell us, like, where did you grow up?
I was born in Manhattan, so I kind of had a crazy.
Born in Manhattan.
I was born in Manhattan, New York, and then I'm a 2001, so it was during 9/11. I was born almost right after 9/11. And I mostly grew up in West Orange, New Jersey. I was mostly there for 8 years, I think. I played in so many different teams, tri-state, and lived in like Brooklyn off and on for like 2 years playing for Met Oval. Then went to Red Bulls for like 4 years, 3 years. Then went to France, and then went to Belgium for a couple months, then Portugal for a couple months. So kind of went all around, and then landed in Seattle, Minnesota, and now I'm here. So it's definitely a journey for sure.
Sam, you've had looking at these two side by side, you've had a similar sort of journey. Like where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was born in Houston, Texas. My parents are from Nigeria, so they migrated over from Nigeria when my dad was going to school, and he played as well, but they moved over to America, and then I was born in Houston, grew up there, played for a lot of local teams out there, and then when I hit 17, I moved out to England, and I was out there for about a year at a development academy in Liverpool. And then from there, I then went to Portugal. And then I was in Portugal for a year, played my last year of youth football. And then from there, went to Spain, was in Spain, signed in Spain for a club called Leganes. And then I ended up being loaned out to Argentina for like 4 months. And then ended up coming back to Spain, playing one more year out there, then moving to Germany. Then stayed in Germany for 2 years, and then from Germany, when COVID hit, I ended up coming back to America, and then that's how I got the opportunity to go play for the Sounders, and then obviously from the Sounders, San Antonio, then San Antonio here. So
do you we talked to a lot of players at the club that have gone through, and I'm thinking about Indy. I spoke to Indy. He had sort of a lot of up and downs going through Europe. But there does seem to be a common thread that a lot of the players that are performing out on the pitch right now have had experiences elsewhere, lots of ups and downs. Like, how do you put a lot of the success that you're having right now down to the experiences that you had, like moving out and trying your luck in Europe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went to Europe when I was 14. My dad came with me for a little bit, but I was mostly there by myself. I mean, I was in the Centre de Formation is where I was in Toulouse for a couple of years, and I had to figure it out. I didn't know French at the time. I come from a French background, but when you're put in those situations, you have to adapt, and it makes you tough. And when you see us on the field, you can see that all that experience comes on the field together in our collectiveness.
So did you learn French to be better at football? And be able to talk to people in France?
I learned French to be able to have friends. I also love to like languages. I can speak good Spanish. Sam can speak Portuguese, Spanish as well. So you can see a lot of the guys on the team. We with our backgrounds, we come from situations where we had to adapt and survive, because it was either learn French or not. Or like sink or swim,
And the French not as forgiving about.
They don't like. Yeah, they don't like English. They don't speak English over there. So yeah.
Sam, you've picked up. You speak a few languages as well. Did you know other languages before you left to go to Europe, or again, did you pick them up to survive?
Yeah, I picked up Portuguese and Spanish to survive. So yeah, when I went out to Portugal, there were guys that spoke English, but the coach that I had out there actually. I could tell that me not speaking Portuguese was kind of something that he didn't really like, and so I was like, I got to pick this up quickly. So I picked that up, and then obviously,
how do you go about? Is it Duolingo app, or is it like you pay for classes? Like
it's literally just forcing yourself. Like when you go out, like I would tell myself, all right, I'm gonna go grocery shopping, or I'm gonna go to a restaurant. Like I'm gonna force myself to speak Portuguese. Like even if I look stupid, like because I don't know the language, I'm gonna force myself. Like so, it was kind of embarrassing at the beginning, but then. Over time, you learn certain things, and you also have to force yourself not to order the same thing, because you can kind of get in that, like when you figure out how to say something, you just say that same thing, and you're stuck eating, a hamburger every single meal. And so it's like you actually have to like force yourself to learn different things. But yeah, it's definitely important to out there. It's important to learn those languages, because if you don't, you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Aziel, did you have the similar sort of experience? Is there any hints and tips for people trying to learn new languages?
Man, for France at least, out of all the places I visited in Europe, France has got to be the toughest place, I think, for French. Like it's like I was trying and it was still not good enough for them, Like the coaches, the staff there were kind of, I would say mean. I was 14 years old. Yeah. I thought they should have known better for American coming across the country, going to play football was like uncommon. So I think they would want to uplift, help as much as possible. But it was kind of like they let me out there for failure, and I had to do it myself, So I would say like you just gotta you gotta find one person that you're close with. Like I had one person in that whole formation. His name's Anthony Rojo, who plays in the Bundesliga right now. I still talk to him to this day, but he was the only one that was helping me up, like helped me with my French, helped me just around the cafeteria or school. I went to French high school. I went straight from American high school to French high school and then graduated there. So, yeah.
So once you get the basics of the language, you're gone from ordering hamburgers, you can start to order like more advanced things. I listened to the Bradley training sessions. Like he's explaining complex tactical systems. Like how long does it take before you can start to understand language to that level? That feels like a very advanced ability to pick up. Did you both find that was?
I think, to be honest, understanding that stuff was actually easier for me, just because when you play football, like that's all you know. So those were the things that like I picked up easily. Those were things that I picked up quicker. It was actually learning how to like communicate with people like outside of football that was difficult. But in terms of like learning what color penny to pick up, learning the tactics that the coach wants, those were the type of things that you had to pick up quickly. So, and obviously like when you understand football, yeah, it's a different language, but I know a lot of people say that football is one language. So you can kind of use like context clues to understand things. So that was definitely like the easiest part, was picking up on what the coaches were saying.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Echo what Sam was saying. I felt like I had an advantage just because, we wanted to play that pressing style, and I came from the Red Bull system, knowing that I remember Bradley was there when I was younger. I remember Jared Stroud. I played with his younger brother, Peter Stroud. I grew up playing with him. I remember Jared Stroud coming to my games, playing U13, U12, when he was on the USL team. So, Definitely has the same feeling I had when I was younger, but definitely what Sam was saying, I felt like the complexity of like the tactics for our team was something I can easily pick up on just because it's football and we're all trying to win.
It feels like there's a lot more players from America heading to Europe early. When like you guys were obviously there sort of around the same time, did you know do you connect with each other? Are you aware there's somebody from New Jersey down here? Like Nico was in Paris around the same time. I think at least 1 or 2 years of crossover when you were there. Like, are you aware of that? Is there like a sort of European connective tissue between players, or do you just doing your own thing?
It's just crazy to hear, our teammates' stories like, oh, I was here during this time. I was like, oh, I was there too. It's kind of like that thing is like, you don't know where everyone is. It's just crazy how everything like meshed together. Like when Sam, like when he's in Seattle, oh, you were in Seattle? Oh, I know him too. Like, kind of thing. And then, just connections like that is just crazy. Like you just never know who your teammate may be. Could be someone you played with 7 years ago. Someone you played with last year. I mean, it doesn't I remember Tim Parker at Red Bulls when I was in the academy and I'm playing with him. So, so stuff like that. I mean, when I was in Minnesota, Kamar Lawrence as well. And I was in the academy. So playing with them, it just shows that doesn't matter how old you are, you might be playing with him. So
Sam, being, in that sort of system where you're shuffling about to lots of clubs, like, does your faith ever get shaken? Or I'm always amazed with professionals, like everybody thinks that you're just out there and it was easy to get there, and then you look at the stories and you're like, you face a lot of rejection along the way, a lot of heartbreak. Like, was your faith ever shaken that you would make it in the game?
Yeah, definitely. I attribute a lot of my success obviously to my faith in God, and my trust that He has everything, sorted out, and then obviously my family helping me out, so yeah, definitely there were times where you struggle and you don't really know what's gonna happen. You don't really know if this is for you, and I had a lot of those times in Portugal. That was my kind of like my first real year like away from like my family, because when I had moved to England, like my family had come to visit a lot and I had gone back a couple of times, but in Portugal I was like out there by myself. Well, my brother was there, but he was in a separate place. So but yeah, I mean, definitely there were times where it was hard. It was hard to see myself becoming a professional, and when you're not getting the minutes that you would like, when you're not getting, you're not scoring as many goals as you feel you should be, your faith is always going to be shaken a little bit. But that's where I think that, having that mentality that, God put you on this earth to do something, and I felt God put me on this earth to play football, and that's one of the things He put me on this earth to do. So I just believed that, I was going to make it. So yeah, it was really just having that mindset of no matter what comes your way, just keep moving forward. And a lot of the times it's the guys that just keep moving forward that make it. It's not always the guy that has the most talent or, has been put in the best position. And a lot of the times it's just not giving up. So,
Aziel, you obviously had a lot of self-belief to take yourself to Europe at such a young age. Do you feel the same way about like making it as Sam? Like, what was your experience like?
Yeah, definitely. When I was 14, I started to really get deeper with my faith. Definitely a lot of my success goes to God just because He was the only one that didn't fail me. It was always there for me. I mean, I was there by myself. So, I mean, I had some support there, but, when you're young and you're a kid, like God moves in ways you can't explain. And like, I felt like He really pushed me to get over that hump. Because I honestly went to like bed crying sometimes. Like I was so mad sometimes I couldn't even call my family because of the service. Couldn't even communicate because I couldn't speak French fully. So it was definitely a tough time for sure. And like you never know like professionally how it's gonna happen. Like I thought I was good enough, and I thought like I can make it, but it's just like, why wasn't I making it? Because everything happens for a reason, and I think God's timing is the best timing. So I feel like for anyone out there that's struggling through anything, it's like you have to believe in the timing, God's timing, because it's all going to work out the way it should be. And I feel like it has here because I was in Minnesota too last season. I didn't play any games with the first team, only in the Open Cups. But, have a good season. Then you come here and you have opportunities. You do well. Sam as well, does well at San Antonio, does well with Seattle, comes here and plays well, scores goals for us. That's a part of God's timing. So it's proven that it's real because there's so many times that, things could be down, but then there's always a reason for it because it brings it back up. It's always a balance.
Sam, the timing part, what was the what happened to bring you back from Europe? What was your moment where you're like, oh wow, things are coming together now?
Yeah, it was so obviously COVID had hit when I was playing in Germany. I was playing in a city called Delmenhorst, and it was Regional League out there, which was 4th league. And then COVID hit. The league got shut down for a bit, and then I ended up coming back to America, and that was around October, November-ish of 2020, I believe. Yeah, 2020. And so, yeah, at that time, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't really know where to go. But then I actually came in contact with a agent out there who's actually from Austin, Texas, which is only a few hours from Houston. And but he lived in Germany, and so he saw me playing out there. And, he started helping me out, and then that's how I ended up getting an opportunity to end up going to Seattle. And I ended up signing, obviously, for their second team at the beginning. And so it was kind of just one of those things where it's play well, and then hopefully you get an opportunity for the first team. And literally, that's what ended up happening. I ended up having a really good season, breaking records there in their second team in the USL. And then I ended up getting an opportunity to play for the first team. And then I started against Austin for Seattle. And that was the youngest lineup in MLS history. And we ended up beating Austin, 1-0. And so that was just an amazing feeling to actually make my MLS debut, after not even having a contract. I still didn't have a contract at that time. And then, from there, they ended up offering me a contract to sign for the first team, and that's when I knew everything is coming together, and then fast forward from there till now, obviously having scored in the MLS and helped the team out. I mean, it's been a major blessing. It's been a major blessing, and I'm really grateful for it.
How about you, Aziel? What was the what was the story that brought you back here? What was the connection point?
Honestly, it was paperwork. I honestly didn't want to leave Europe. I didn't have my French passport, European passport, so I was going off a student visa, and I was underage. I was 17 at the time when I decided to come back, and then I moved back with my mom, reconnected with her in Seattle, which was awesome because my parents divorced when I was pretty young, 5 or 6, and I stayed with my dad my whole life, and then reconnecting with her was great. And I thought everything was going to go well. But then, I was a Red Bull homegrown, though. So I was going to go to the Sounders, but they didn't accept me because of, I guess, some fee, because I was a homegrown. So Red Bulls wanted a fee. So then I had to go to a non-professional club called Crossfire. And I was playing well there. I was scoring a lot of goals. And I was getting, actually, Sonny Dotson's former agent, Ricky Greenwood, saw me play, and Asani Dotson's brother, I was playing with Mooney, and he was looking at him, trying to help him out, and then he saw me, he's like, who's this kid? And then I start a connection with him, and he's like, oh, well, I think you can make the next level to MLS, and then he started talking to teams, and then I got a opportunity at Minnesota United in 2021. Early, I was supposed to go 2020, but because of COVID, everything kind of shut down, so I was just preparing myself that whole 2020 year to go to Minnesota and perform well because there was no guarantee I was going to sign a contract. So, and I was going to be the youngest player I knew. But that didn't stop me. I was playing, I think Minnesota, we had one of the oldest teams in the league in 2021. Ozzy Alonso, Michael Boxall, Will Trapp. So going there was kind of intimidating at first, but that didn't stop me. And I was grateful to get a contract there. Despite that, I wasn't able to make an MLS debut for 2 years. I'm still grateful for the organization for giving me a platform to play football, and I'm always grateful for that. And coming to St. Louis is a blessing, and also scoring in the MLS, helping the team win, has definitely been a high. I definitely love how it all came out to be. Making my debut versus San Jose, our fourth win of the season, I believe, our fourth game of the season. We made history there. And yeah, I'm really blessed for that. So definitely comes full circle.
So when you're playing in MLS Next Pro, you're playing in USL, is the vibe in those squads, everybody is like hyper focused on pushing it up to the next level? Is it like, is that kind of the objective? Because we've got lots of players that have had careers across both of those, Kyle, Josh Yarrow. Like, is it, what's the vibe like playing for those sorts of teams?
It's definitely a great experience just because we're all trying to compete and we're all going super hard. But definitely when you're in the academy going up, you're like, oh, I'm trying to make it to the second team. Okay, that's a goal. Or UPSL, then now it's the second team. That's a goal. Then the first team, that's a goal. But I feel like when you make it to the first team, you're still not satisfied. For me, I know for him, he's not satisfied either because there's more past that. And as humans, we always want more because we're never satisfied with anything. Like, oh, I got this, or what's the next thing I'm going to get? But, as long as you realize where you come from, like, oh, wow, I did this, I progressed here, I made myself up here, then, like, you start to get more conscious and aware of, like, okay, wow, I did this. Let me be grateful for it for a second, and let me not overstress myself because then the next thing will come. You know what I mean? But definitely in those environments, it's great to see because everyone wants to progress.
Do you guys, I know that like Bradley's always like, you have a win and he's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, what's the next thing? So have you, either of you, taken a moment this season to say, this has been pretty crazy? Like, I know that like professional athletes, you guys will think differently, but have you taken a moment to step back and say, all the hard work, like I'm seeing some fruit now?
Yeah, I mean, every day we do that. I think that's not a one-time thing. I don't think you do it once and then you're just like, oh, okay, well, let's move on. Like, every single day I show up to training. I'm like, man, it's a blessing to be out here, and it's like to have done what we've already achieved with this organization, with this club, with these fans is amazing. And, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep on going, But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the thing that I do every single day when I wake up. I just thank God that I'm here in this situation. I'm here with these fans. I'm here with this staff and the organization. So yeah, I definitely think it's important to just to recognize that this is not normal. This is not something that happens every day. So yeah, you just gotta kind of like enjoy the moment and kind of realize that like, not many people get this opportunity, to be in a expansion team that's finished first place, that's broken all these records, that's given so many players opportunities. You gotta, every single day you have to realize that. And I think that's what keeps us grounded and, helps us to realize that, man, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep pushing. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. To echo what Sam said, definitely it's a blessing just to, be able to get on a field, grass field, have a facility, have trainers, have people cook for you, have like sometimes like, sometimes when we end training, it could be frustrating. We all have those days, but if like when I get to my locker, I try to stop and be like, okay, wow, like today wasn't a great day, but I have a club that has my back, a great team. We're in first place, a great stadium, good environment, good people around me. So that's always something to be thankful for because a lot of people just want to look past that because there's a lot of people that want to be in our shoes. There's only 800 players in MLS, I think, and there's 300 million people in the U.S. So if you take that in perspective, it's definitely crazy. So it's unbelievable because it's first expansion team to get first, we're the only expansion team to ever do that. So great fans. I think our fans are the only fans that ever stand for 90 minutes in the game. Mm-hmm. I never seen that before. So, that's also something like, wow, someone came to pay money to stand in the pouring rain and watch these guys kick the ball into the net. So I definitely feel like that's something to excite you.
So it's been a good season for both of you. You can correct me if I got this wrong. I took it off the internet, but 8 goals, 1 assist, 3 goals, 6 assists. Like that's a pretty amazing output for both of you, considering that batting around the sort of 1,100, 1,200 minute mark for the season. could I ask you both to tell me what's your favorite personal soccer moment from a season of output like that?
You can go first. Yeah, you can go.
Because I know you're thinking his favorite soccer output from the season. Definitely. I mean, there's so many. Like, obviously, just even the first win in Austin. I mean, I didn't play. I mean, he wasn't rostered, but being a part of that was something special. I remember how the feeling, the green in the Austin Stadium, getting back into the locker room, like we just won a game. I remember like the photo we took with the owners and everything like that. That first win was something special, and the fans that traveled to see us was crazy. And
that atmosphere was wild. Right?
The atmosphere was crazy. Yeah, and also I would say the game where he came back versus San Jose. Definitely, he was gone for 2 months. It felt lonely in the house. So for him to come back and both of us get our first MLS start together, happy that he scored 2 goals and me 1 for sure. But yeah, that's definitely a big moment as well, and my first MLS goal as well. Yeah.
How about yours?
Man, I'd say my favorite moment, just for me personally, not the team wise, would probably be my it's between my goal against Austin or my goal against SKC and SKC. That was fun. Just, to be able to score and I'd probably choose SKC.
2 very different goals as well.
Yeah. I'd probably choose SKC just because SKC, even though we didn't end up winning that game, just to see the fans come out for that and just to see, it felt like a home game. Honestly, it felt like we, and I know that this coming Sunday is going to feel like another home game for us. So, I mean, just to have that support has been amazing from the fans. And, that's definitely my favorite moment. And then obviously as a team moment, I would definitely say San Jose, probably just that feeling after winning, because we were going through a rough patch that time. And then to be able to come back, score 2 goals, and then obviously him winning the penalty, for the second goal. And, just having a bunch of guys who at that time hadn't gotten that many minutes in the team to be able to come in and do that well and help the team, bounce back from everything that had been going on was just an amazing feeling. It was great to do that for the fans. So,
do you guys have any non-footballing moments? Like, you're both quite easy to identify in a crowd. I've seen you down the Foundry getting dinner once or twice before. You're becoming household names in the city. Do you have any of those moments where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool? People recognize me. People saying hello.
Yeah, there's one time we went to Target.
Yeah,
we went to Target by our house in regular clothes. We were just trying to get, I don't know what we were getting, snacks or whatever, but there was a fan, definitely, he knew who we were and was talking about our outfits being so nice.
Yeah, we were I was literally wearing Crocs.
I was wearing
sweats and a t-shirt, and a jacket. So,
and he knew it because he kept trying to talk to us. Like, he was smiling, the biggest smile on his face. I think he might have been like maybe intimidated or scared or embarrassed to ask for something. I don't know, but yeah, that was definitely, I remember that with him because we looked at each other like that dude definitely knew who we were. But
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the beard that intimidates people. But if anybody ever sees me, you can walk up to me and say hello and like want a picture or anything.
What do you get? You get the looks, and it's like
it's kind of like they'll look at you and then they'll look down and then they'll look back at you again, and then you're looking at them, and then at some point you're like, okay, if they come up to me, it's like, all right, cool, but if they don't come up to me, I'm not just gonna go over there, So yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean. It's a great feeling to have that because I definitely believe that there are a lot of other MLS teams where they don't have the fan base that we have. And quite frankly, fans don't really notice them. So when they go out, people don't really pay attention to them. But it's whereas here in St. Louis, like when we go out, people know who we are. And that's great to see, because like little kids will come up and like ask for pictures and stuff like that. And as a player, that makes you feel like important. It makes you feel like, wow, like people actually care about what we're doing in this city. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a great feeling.
Has the the shared experience that you both have, like living together, being friends, does that add to the experience of, you know, going away? Is it nice to know that, you know, you sit next to someone that's got your back, that you can talk about stuff? Like, how has that been, like, as a friendship?
It's definitely been awesome and a blessing because having Sam, like when we met, we clicked automatically in preseason, and we're like, yo, so it was kind of like a quick thing, like, yo, where we gonna live? Like, it wasn't like a what, like we didn't even know. I don't even know if we knew each other's last names at that point or not. It was like, yo, we cool? Oh, you came from here? All right, cool. It was kind of like that, and yeah, it was pretty fun. But going to the crib and being like brothers almost, because, you know, we go through the same thing. We go to Bible study together. We train together. We watch film together. We watch movies together. So doing that with someone that's living in the same experience as you definitely helps, because he can see things I don't see, and I can see things he doesn't see. And so, like, it balances.
Do you have like a sort of an honest relationship? Like, you can be honest to each other about when someone's not had a great game or not had a great moment?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. I fight him like he's my brother. You know, I fight with him all the time. But like in a good way though. Like, we argue, we fight. Yeah. But, you know, it's just like, because I actually look at him as my brother, you know. So like anytime, like in a game or in training or even just in life in general, I notice something, I'll like tell him, I'm like, hey, like, you know, let's do this, or like, hey, you're doing this, you know. And he does the same thing for me, you know. And when you hear it from someone that actually cares about you, you know, even in the moment, if you're upset, when you go back and when you have like your quiet time and you just kind of like sit there, you kind of realize, okay, like, why did he say that? Was he saying that just to get at me, or was he saying that because he actually cares about me and wants to help me? You know, so then it helps you become a better person, helps you become a better player. So yeah, I mean, definitely I've enjoyed that experience, and I'm grateful to have him in my life. So
yeah, definitely same.
So you both have sort of artistic DNA in your families. Az, music, Sam, fashion. Sam, tell us about the clothes that you wear before game, because it's very unique setup that you wear, and you've got a family business that you're very involved in. Tell us about VAPS.
Yeah, so it's called VAPS Dynasty Clothing. That's it's an acronym for all of my siblings in order from oldest to youngest. So V stands for Victor, A stands for Ayodeji, P stands for Pelumi, my sister, and then S stands for Sam, obviously. So I have two older brothers, sister above me, and then me, obviously being the last born. So yeah, it was just it was something that my mom started. You know, I like to say it started around 2017, 2018, but it kind of started before that, just because my mom had the idea of something, but she didn't know exactly what she wanted it to be. But seeing as, like, I'd say I come from a stylish family, you know, we decided to go the clothing route. So yeah, everything that you see me wearing to the games is custom made. Normally I wear native, it's Nigerian native wear, or we can call
always
it.
Got a little twist.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it's called a kaftan is what they normally call it. But yeah, I mean, it's all custom. So everything that I wear has been made for me, and it's all different. So that's why I can wear different ones to each game. But yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing to be able to have my own clothing brand and to be able to do it with my family. And obviously Az, who I consider as my family now, has helped out with the company as well. You know, he rocks our toiletry bag to the games. You know, he even has clothing as well. But yeah, it's just Nigerian native wear. We do bags as well. We do suits. We make suits as well. And we even do like whole weddings for people. So I mean, it's been great to be able to do that and to show my artistic side as well, because I love fashion, you know, and I model as well. So yeah, that's been great.
Fashion seems to be becoming more and more sort of intertwined with soccer. Do you are you big into fashion as well?
Yeah, pretty big. I mean, I had some photos on my Instagram, but I had to cue them, like put them away, because I used to go to school like wearing these big glasses. Like I used to poke out the 3D glasses, but then I ended up finding like actual different color glasses, like not prescription. And then used to wear button-ups. I used to roll up my khakis super high, show my socks, and wear some like sneakers. Like I have so many, like I was wild. But definitely been developed through now, like being in Europe, seeing that style, I was in New York, New Jersey, and being in Seattle, so getting East, West, now Midwest, so seeing all the styles is pretty cool.
How long do you guys take preparing the outfit?
It's funny, like he'll already, like, he'll have a package from VAPS. I'm like, oh, you wearing this one today? Like, it's a different color or a different style. Like, it's fresh off the bag or something. And then, like, for me, it's like I have a like unorthodox style, like, and I'll be like, yo, Sam, does this go well? You think so? He's like, nah, wear this. It's like, so yeah, we bounce off each other, for sure.
And you've got a musical background in your family. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my dad worked at Jazz and Lincoln Center for over 20 years in New York. With Wynton Marsalis. He's been in jazz his whole life since he was 3 or 4. He started playing jazz music in Detroit. Me and my brothers picked up really quickly when we were young, playing piano, guitar, drums. I definitely still play guitar and piano in the house. Sam's hears me.
No, but it's good. It's good. It's good. It's
jazz is a nice one.
Yeah,
right?
no. It's good. He's very good at it. So it makes just the ambiance and the vibe in the house so much better. So because
it's nice when friends come around.
Yeah. Because if he sucked, then that would have been kind of annoying. Yeah. But nah, he's good. He's very good at it. Yeah. So
I kind of freestyle it. I have like jazz in my blood as well. But me and my brother, we kind of mix our styles up. We like to play a free-flowing style. It's not really a genre. It's like our own genre, kind of. Like, we have a tune we know, and then we bounce off of that, and maybe we'll do a different chord that, sounds good. But I also love drawing. I mean, Sam got me actually a drawing kit for my birthday.
Oh,
because,
wow.
Good guy, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, because I draw.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, very thoughtful. Because I draw all the time, and like for years people will want my art or want to buy it. So I actually started like a little mini brand called First Move that I just kind of launched. And it's just all my drawings on shirts. And it's not as the same type of style as VAPS, but Sam loves it.
No, it's nice. It's very
nice.
It's
cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I definitely get his input, or he would get my input. He'd be like, yo, can you do this? Or how about this? Like, he came with me to, SDL Style House actually are helping me launch it. And he came with me because I love to have another advocate or someone that can see different eyes I don't see. So I definitely value what he says.
So do you think having a sort of artistic outlet for both of you is important because, this is really intense and then you can escape with your art, whether it's drawing or playing the piano?
No, for sure. Yeah, I play Nocturne G minor by Chopin. That's my favorite thing to play.
Really?
I played it before.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I heard it from the first time. I loved it from the first time I watched the movie Pianist. Pianist that came out in 2002. I was young. I was like 7 or 8 years old. I heard it and I was like, I want to play that. So yeah, my dad had the sheet of music and I was able to learn it. So I still play it to this day. So
that's incredible. How about you? What's your? Are you a painter, a drawer? Sorry, artist.
Funny thing is, I'm not that great with the piano. I'm trying to learn a little bit. I'm not that great with it. But funny thing is, in terms of like drawing and artistry, I learned a lot from him because I would always see him in his room drawing, and I'm the type of guy, like, I read, and stuff like that. And obviously I like watching TV shows, movies and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to get into a different hobby outside of my brand, and obviously I design things for my brand. So I was like, maybe I should start drawing. And, so when I got him that art kit, I was like, I'm going to get myself one too, So I've been drawing a little bit too, and I've been trying to get into that side of things. And I definitely think it's been very helpful. It calms you down, it helps with just like your mood and everything. And it really just, gives you something to focus on and something to put your energy into, that's obviously not football, because obviously we love football, but if your mind is just only on football 24/7, it's going to mess you up. So yeah.
Well, great. I've got 2 more questions for you guys. The first one is like, what's the most important thing that you've learned about yourself this season?
Man,
it's a lot.
It's
When
just,
heavy, it's same.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
The most
there is.
important thing I learned about myself.
I'd say for me, the most important thing that I learned about myself is that I can do things that maybe in the moment you don't think you can do, you know? And that can also be on the bad end too. It can be on the good end, it can be on the bad end. I think that for the bad end of it, or like the not so good end of it, like with your teammates and stuff like that, there are times where you can kind of like be so focused on your own outlook and how you see things that you don't see the way other people see things, you know? And I think that's something that I've picked up on and learned, is how to see things better from other people's like viewpoint. And he's helped me a lot with that, you know, because sometimes if I'm seeing something, he'll explain, well, no, like, have you thought about it from this point of view? And at first I'd kind of be like, oh, I don't know. But then later on I'd be like, okay, yeah, you know what? That does make sense. So I think definitely on the bad end of it, like, you can get so clouded in like what you think that you don't see other people's point of view. But then obviously the good side of it is that when you finally like open up your heart and open up your like ears to it, you can finally see things from other people's point of view, and then you can start to become a better teammate, a better person, you know? And yeah, I just realized that there are things that I can do that maybe earlier on, or maybe before when I was younger, I wasn't so good at, you know, or I didn't really know how to do. And so it just makes me honestly have faith and have belief that, man, I can achieve things if I really just put my mind to it, you know, and I trust in God. Like, I can really achieve these things. So, you know, whether it's in football, whether it's in life, you know, you always have to have that mentality of like, you know, put God first, and then everything else will fall in line. You know, if you just focus and have belief that you can achieve these things with his help, you know, you can do anything. So
That's a great one.
Yeah, for sure. Hard to keep get up with that one, huh?
That's pretty.
Keep up
that's
with
pretty
that one.
solid.
yeah.
But I definitely say like my ability to hear others, you know, their voices, because like it's kind of correlates to what Sam was talking about with perspective, because you don't really know like what someone else is saying. Like, you don't know how you're making them feel. Like, you may think you're making them feel so one way, but they're like, no, you're not, because maybe you're not listening to them. So I think for sure for me, it goes to listening, because, you know, I'm still young, we're still young, and, you know, we think we know everything, but, you know, even when coaches are talking, or, you know, my mom or anyone's talking, it's like, I don't want to listen to it, but I'll argue, and then I'll slow down and then not say anything, go back and rethink about it, and be like, oh, I see, you know? I think in terms of that, I feel like I've developed a lot, because it's not really about who cares like what I think, because it doesn't matter. It's like what they think and what I need to do to fix it. And it starts with listening, because listening, like, that's why we have two ears and one mouth. I have a drawing in my drawing book. I have a drawing in my drawing book that literally has a cord from the brain to the mouth that connects a plug, and it's not connected, but there's two ears on the other side. So that goes to show is like, if your brain and your mouth are not connected, then what are you going to say? Because like the plug represents the connection between your mouth. But if you just say things without listening, you're not going to get any positive feedback or any feedback at all. So I think in terms of listening to my teammates, listening to my coaches, listening to my family, it's helped me get to a point where I can like slow down my thought process and actually hear others before hearing myself first. Because I always used to be like when I was younger, oh, you're not listening to me, you're not hearing me. But now it's like, okay, what can I do to comfort you? How can I listen better? How can I be more clear, you know? And it goes into our training too. Like in the beginning of the season, none of us knew what we were getting into, but it took all of us to take a time to listen to what Coach Bradley was saying, the staff was saying, to understand how we wanted to play, how we wanted to press. And we all had to be attentive and listen to each other, because that was the only reason how we got successful, because we stopped and we looked at film, we listened to each other on the field, off the field, and you can see the success now. And I feel like for myself, it's been a blessing just to have people like him around me just to give me feedback, because like I love feedback. Like as when I was younger, I would hate it because I think people are picking on me. But like seeing that people are there for you and want the best for you, you need to like put your ego aside and listen to them, because it's only going to help you. And I feel like I've grown from that.
Those were two really great lessons. I'm going to be greedy, but I think you'll go with me on this one. I think a lot of young players will listen to this podcast and they'll look at your backgrounds and be like, wow, these guys really went through it. They deserve all the success that they're having at the moment. Do you have one bit of advice for the young players that are listening to this podcast, hoping that they can be like you two when they grow up?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I can.
So you can go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, I remember first I wanted to say that you never know who's watching you, because that, like my dad would always say before a game, well, I was like 10, 9, 8, 11, 12, whatever. You never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you. I'll be like, bro, I'm just trying to focus on the game. Like, why you need to say that, you know? But then when you get older, you see that, like, every little thing matters, like, that you think it doesn't matter. Like, or how do you react to your teammates? How do you react to your coach? How do you react to the staff even? How do you react to, say, the security guard at the stadium? Like, are you being nice to them? Are you making people feel like $1 million? Because that attitude and that mindset will help you go further, even past football. Because with football, you can do all the ability. You can have a bad game. You can have a great game. But how's your reaction to that? Sam, for example, I mean, it's bad. I mean, he got a red card and he didn't able to go to Houston. But his reaction was positive, you know? It wasn't negative, like, oh, this, whatever. He couldn't see his family in Houston. But how was his reaction? He was like, no, let me go back to work again next week. Let me train hard. Let me play well. And he comes on and scores. So, you know, I feel like the reaction time, the attitude, and the little details matter, because it's going to help you go further in football. Like, it can be someone 5 years ago you met one time that you helped open the door, someone random. And he's like, oh, I remember that kid. He was good. Let me give him an opportunity. That's happened all the time in football.
That's brilliant advice.
Yeah.
Sam, what's your one bit of advice for the young St. Louis players listening to this?
Oh, man. I would definitely say a big thing to focus on is listening first, like we were talking about. Listening first and actually listening, and then speaking. And then actually thinking about what you're going to say and then speaking. Just in life, on the field, off the field, you know, if you have that mentality of listen first, grow, then speak, then you're going to be able to get far. But if it's kind of just like when someone says something to you, your immediate response is, no, I don't want to hear that, or, you know, that's not what I was doing, you know, or to like defend yourself, you know, then you're not really going to get far in this game, you know. So having that mentality of listen first, then speak is very important. And it sounds simple, but it's hard in the moment. You know, in the moment there are times where, and there may even be times where you're in the right, you know, and you do have the right to say something. But even at those times, people respect it when you show them respect, and when you listen first and then you speak, you know. So yeah, that's definitely a big piece of advice. And obviously the most important thing and most cliche one is don't give up. Like, that's what I always tell people, is never give up. I had a lot of teammates growing up that had a lot of talent, even more talent than me probably. And yeah, they just got to a point where things didn't go their way and they just kind of stopped playing. You know, they gave up. And I always tell people, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what you've been through. If you keep going, you're going to get something, you know? And I'm not saying that you're going to win the Ballon d'Or and you're going to be the best player on the earth, because I'm not going to lie to you. But I will say that if you keep pushing and you keep working hard, that it won't be for nothing. Because if it doesn't work out in football, it may work out in something else. So always having that mentality of never giving up in life, and having that mentality of it doesn't matter what I'm going through, it doesn't matter what, situation might come my way, I'm going to keep fighting and I'm going to keep pushing. You'll be able to conquer a lot of things. So
yeah, for sure. I definitely want to add to that because it's like you got to control what you can, like, but you can control like your situation, but you can go out in the field and start training. I have videos of me 12 years old, or 10 years old, like working on my left foot and I would like just give up, or I would try to give up because like my left foot was so bad, and I was trying to get it so more dominant to my right, because you have to work hard. Like working hard is not even a question, because there's so many people that want to be where you are. There's so many people that are in worse conditions. There's so many people that don't even have food to eat today, or don't have shoes to play, but you do. So that's something to be grateful for, because no one has to do anything for you. Looking at what happened in my career, or what's happened for me, Minnesota didn't have to give me opportunity. I'm grateful for Minnesota for giving me opportunity to sign with them. And, at first it was tough. I didn't play any games for 2 years in the MLS. People think that when you sign professionally that you just made it. Like, that's not how professional sports work. Like, you have to show up, you have to perform, you have to do well for yourself. And, and good things come out of that. And you might get perks here and there, but I know now, even like, I'm so grateful for the club and for the city that we got first place. There will be bumps for the club, and there'll be bumps for the players. But if you don't, like he said, if you just give up, you're not going to go anywhere. But you keep going, there'll be even more things you would never imagine. Like, God says that, like, what he has planned for you is nothing questionable than what you will achieve, because you think you want something, he'll give you even more than that. You want this, he'll give you more than what you think you want. And that's real.
That's some unbelievable advice for the young players. And listen, I'm listening. I'm inspired listening to you both. We have a bit of a tradition on the show. We end with you both giving a message to the St. Louis City fans. I meet with supporters and fans all the time. You guys are definitely favourites out there. I'd love you to sign off with a little note to them.
We appreciate the fans all season supporting us and helping us get to first in the West. Being there from a win, loss, or a draw. You guys always stood up for us after games, being there, cheering us on, and we appreciate all the love and support you give us.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then, obviously from my end, just thank you. Thank you for all the support throughout the whole season. Thank you for always being there for us. Rain, snow, hot weather, because it gets hot here in St. Louis.
Hot.
But yeah, thank you for being there for us. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for believing in us. That belief is what has propelled us to be first in the West and, move even further. So thank you.
So I just want to say thank you again to AZ and Sam. You've been absolutely brilliant. And if you're listening to this on any of your podcast channels, give us a 5-star review so they'll come back again. And on that note, I'll say ciao for now.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.